The program is State Affairs, and my guest is Jumoke. Jumoke, it's good to have you on State Affairs.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, this is the woman that walks the streets of Ibadan. What are you always looking for?
Waste. When you think of me, you think of waste. That's the only thing I see in Ibadan.
And you want to create a sustainable future?
Yes, a sustainable world without wastes.
Without waste?
Without waste.
So how do we do that?
Very simple. We call it our 5 R's and a U. So 5 R's and 1 U. Reduce, reuse, recycle, refuse, repair, and upcycle. If everybody can do this, there will not be any waste available.
So let's break it down. Reuse.
Okay. If you know what to do with your waste, you just got yourself a bottle of water. You're very thirsty. So you have the option of a dispenser bottle or a plastic bottle that you will use and single use and you throw away. So if you are very wise and you've met us before, you will pick the dispenser water bottle. But let's assume that you have not met us before. And so you pick the normal single-use bottle plastic. How many minutes does it take you to drink your water? 5 minutes? 1 minute? But once you're done with that bottle, what do you do with it? You throw it into the bin, in the gutters, out of your car window, anyhow. Now, you threw it away, but there's no way, because each of those single plastic bottles will take over 450 years before they can biodegrade.
400?
Over. They never do. 450 years for each one. So if I use 20 bottles in a day, or you use 20 bottles in a week, and you throw them away, which is in the gutter or in your bin, and it does not get recycled, it does not get reused, it does not get upcycled, it's going to end up in the gutters. Then from the gutters it will end into the waterways. Then from there it will get into the oceans, and it's just coming back to you because it's going to go into the fishes. It's not biodegrading, so it will become a microplastic.
So we are talking about an endangered future.
Yes. There's a prediction that says by 2050, there will be more plastics in the ocean than fishes.
How come Jumoke is this worried and government is not as worried as you?
Well, 10 years ago, it's going to 11 years now, I gave birth to my twins. I was home alone. And because I was on maternity leave for 3 or 4 months, I noticed the amount of waste I was generating from my single flat alone. And then I started asking questions. Why do I have to throw this waste away? Why can't I'll be in the kitchen, I'll break like 10 eggs, I have visitors, I break 10 eggs, I have the eggshells ready, I have juice pack, before I know it, the whole place is filled up with waste. And I was directly in charge of the waste manager. So I keep asking, why all these things that I'm throwing away, they should have another life. There was a particular day I was drinking a box of juice, and there was some remaining, and I felt I'm not going to waste any of this juice. So I took a scissors, and I opened the box of juice. And the inside of the pack was finer than the outside. And I felt, why do I have to throw them away? And from asking that question, that is where I am today. Because I kept asking that question, what can we do with the waste?
You just struck something on me. Those who ask questions find solutions, right?
Yes. That year, 11 years ago, when I was asking the question, I never imagined that I would be here today. Do you know that from asking that question, I became an art teacher in an international school without an art background, no art teacher, no art lesson anywhere, just because of asking that question. And it fed me for 5 years. I was an art teacher in an international school without a certificate. I remember when I was at the interview, they were asking me, are you going to be the art teacher? And I'm like, I remember I was telling them that I don't even know the art theory. I don't even know what is primary color. Because I never had any background of art. I never had any art teacher. It was just my passion. I love waste. I love converting it into useful, functional materials. And one of the parents came to one of my training and saw what I was doing. I was like, wow, this is the practical side of what we want in our school. And that was how it is, just from asking that question.
Yeah, I've seen some of your work. You're quite artistic with the designs, especially what you do with tyres.
Yes, I love tyres. You know, tyres are just there standing, and for the next, should I say 1,000 years, nothing is going to happen to that tyre. Nothing. So, and it's rugged. It's bouncy. It's strong. It's beautiful once you had colors. So why don't we use them? For each of the furniture we make, do you know how many trees we are saving?
You make furniture with tyres?
Yes, we make furniture with tyres, we make furniture with plastic bottles. And for each one, like a small mini plastic ottoman, we are making it with 21 plastic bottles. For each of our tire furniture, we've saved one tire from entering. There's nobody that will see our furniture that wants to throw them away because we've given them another life. So it means that we are directly saving those waste from entering into the ocean.
And this is a way of producing a future that is sustainable.
Yes.
Going through your website, I saw a very interesting statement that we hope to be a guiding light to our generations on different ways waste can be converted to wealth.
Yes.
I'm interested in wealth. Yes. Are you saying from waste we can create billionaires?
Yes.
Is that a point Jumoke is making?
Yes, that's the point I'm making.
Tell me more.
Now, you have a car and you have 4 tires and 1 spare. And so you've used it for a while and you're ready to change your tires. Once you buy 2 new tires or second-hand or whichever one you choose to buy, immediately you're done. You have 2 options. It's either if you have a farm, some people that have farms, I learned that they take the tires to the farm now to burn their farm, which is also another thing I don't even want to talk about. Now, another option is for you to leave it with the organizer. Now, when you leave it with the organizer, what is it going to do with it? You will sell it to, I even heard recently from a friend of mine that is, that some people from some part that they sell spare parts come to take those waste tires and put some form of threading on it and they sell it back as new tires, which is very dangerous because anybody buying those tires will assume they're buying a good tire and it's already a condemned tire. So now we take those tires that you have left with your organizer and then the highest they can sell it to anybody is maybe 100 naira or 200 naira. So we take it. We use that same tire, which is like almost 80% of our product. Then we had a 20% materials to it and then we sell it as a furniture. So tell me, is that not wealth? Because that is waste. Sometimes we go on the road. Sometimes I'm driving home and then I will see tires by the roadside. I will park.
You do that?
Oh, if I'm going down and I see tires, I'm parking. I will fling my heels, put on my slippers and go park. We have a waste museum that we're working on in Monia. The tires we use for the ceilings, we have our ceilings, we made them with tires. I went to Ring Road myself with a brother of mine to park the tires. I was passing and then I saw the tires and this particular tires had been cut open. They were flat. They were still round, but those curved side of the tires had been cut, like as if I'm the one that I knew how long it would take me to take my saw to cut those edges. And I saw them a lot on that road to Ring Road. I turned back. I cancelled where I was going to. I called my brother. I picked the Micra. I loaded the mic. We loaded. I then loaded front back, and we brought it from Ring Road to Monia.
When people see you picking tires, what do they say to you?
They are shocked. They are wondering, is she mad? But I'm not looking at anybody. I'm focused. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm not going to stay there for a whole hour. When we were packing those ones that we used for the ceiling, maybe we were there for like 30 minutes or 40 minutes. We're gone. Our taxi is parked. So anybody looking at us will be like, what are they doing? What do they want to use for? Look at this fine girl. She's even picked. Sometimes I don't even have gloves. I will park and go and wash my hand later and sanitize it. So they will be asking. So I'm causing questioning in their hearts. If they are bold enough to call me and say, Madam, what are you using? I will take my time. I will explain to them. So I don't care. I'm not looking at anybody. I'm focused on, because I know what I needed to do. That day I was able to pick over 25 tires that had been cut. That would take me a whole day if I did not pick those ones. I was so in a rush because I was like, hope somebody else have not seen it. It's like I found a treasure. And like the Bible even said that somebody found the treasure, sold all the things that he had, and he went to go and buy it. I cancelled on my apartment. I was calling my brother that we went together. I was like, hurry up. I said, somebody else could have seen it. I don't want us to get there, and we did not. I was so excited because I could picture what I needed to use it for.
Is this the same excitement you pour into the kids you train?
Yes.
Why do you choose to train kids?
Okay. Adults, I feel adults have failed us. I feel we have failed ourselves. Because look around, most of the major of the waste that we see, who are the people making it? We have seen adults, learned, educated people, finish drinking water in their car and they toss it out on express. Sometimes, if I'm behind them, I will put my hand on my horn. I will do beep, 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 beep. And then once I can speed up and meet them, I will scream. Why? I wish I can be a military man so that I will just pack them with authority and I will ask them to go back and pick that waste. We are the one that is making the major waste. Now, I feel that if we can catch the children, we will not be in this same dilemma. That prediction that by 2050 there will be more plastics will not come to pass. Because if we can raise up this new generation, primary school, secondary school, university, if we can raise them up to know what is right, to do the right thing now, and they start doing it, in 5 years, 10 years time, we will not have this menace.
And you go from private school to public school?
Public school is our personal passion. Public school first, because they are the one that we felt that we can see that is lacking more. Go to all the public schools that you see around. Not all of them have a playground. They're not even doing arts anymore. They've changed the subject now to CCA, and it's theory-based. And it is the homeroom teacher that teaches them. So they don't even have... When we were doing my project for my 40th birthday, we call it PP40, we were doing in some schools that had secondary school students beside them. And we realized that not only the primary school student, even the secondary school student have never worked with paints in their life. They've never used crayon in art. They've never done anything. They will come and they will stay with us. They will not leave. So it goes way back. So
they enjoy their time with you.
When they were painting, some of them would touch the paint, rub the paint on their face, rub it on their body, and they will take it home. Some will not wash their hands. They will take their hands home to go and show their parents.
What does that tell you?
It tells me that there's a big gap, and we are already, most of the children that is coming up these days are not exposed to creativity. So how do we want them to think out of the box? How do we want them to create solutions? They're not even thinking about, they're not even concerned about what is solution, because they're only concerned about what we want to eat and want to go to school, because they have been so denied. It's a lot of work that needs to be done, but we're not waiting for anybody. We are just going ahead, doing the little we can do with the little we have.
Your team installed playgrounds in public schools.
Yes, we did that for my 40th birthday actually. We called it PP40 Waste to Playground. And what happened was that I was in my house that day. I wanted an alert in my account. So I told God, I said, I want you to prove to me. Maybe it was in the Bible. Some people tried you and tested you and said, let the sun go, let the moon come back. I said, me too, I want to try it today. I want an alert to sound in my account. So I was waiting. 9 p.m., there was no alert. 10 p.m., So I left everybody in the parlor. I went to the room alone. And I was waiting, there's no alert. God, I know that you are God, but let alerts come. And then I started thinking. And then I remembered, wow, I'm going to be 39. It was on October 9th. And I said, wow, I'm going to be 39 next month. Wow, I'm going to be 40 next year. And then it just dawned on me, wow, I've lived all my life in Ibadan. I was born here, primary school here, secondary school. I went to University of Ibadan first degree. I went to master's first degree, master's in UI again. I met my husband here, we got married here. I gave it to all my 4 children. I've lived all my life in Ibadan.
Omo Ibadan.
Omo Ibadan. My parents are not from Ibadan.
Yes,
they're from Abeokuta. But me, I'm Omo Ibadan. Because this is the only town, this is the only city, this is the only home I know.
And you are doing everything to make this a good place.
To make this city, because this is home for me. And so I felt, if I've lived 40 years in Ibadan, I'm not going to do any party for 40th birthday. Before that time, many of my friends have done 40th birthday, we went there, and I was like, no, I'm not doing party for 40th birthday. And I have enough time, this is 13 months, and that idea just dropped in my heart. Why don't you go to 40 public school and teach them what you know? What do you have in your hand? What do you have? I said, I have the skills, this upcycling skills. So go to those schools, teach those children free how to use the waste. Let their eyes be open. Let them have that experience of a practical art session, at least for once in their lives. And we were able to reach over 16,000 children in 13 months, single-handedly. Imagine if everybody is doing this. It will get to everybody on time.
So are you among the saviors of Africa?
Well,
because I can see Africa written all over you.
Yeah, the name of our company is African Creative Hub.
Yes. So are you among those that will save Africa?
Well, everybody that we meet should save Africa. Every one of Africans are the savior of Africans.
But some are saying the likes of Jumoke are the champions of the future.
Well, I'm just there to work.
You seem to be running away from being celebrated.
Well, there's this thing about plenty of stories, no action. So I don't tell stories. What's there to do? Go ahead and do it. Don't waste time talking, plenty of time planning, waiting for all the dots to be crossed, waiting for all the T's to be... No! If you notice any problem around you, and you know that you have the capacity, if it is 100 you can do, if it is 1 you can do, start.
You told the story of how you and your team made a move to clear a dump site.
Oh, yes.
Around Monia.
Yes.
By the next morning, what did you see?
Oh my gosh. September 15 is World Cleanup Day every year. So 2 years ago, we mobilized over 150 volunteers all around Ibadan from different organizations. We even had people came from Lagos, people came from Shagamu. And we went to 4 dump sites around Aite, Akinbile, and Areonibon, like 4. And we mobilized each other. We had a friend came in, Charlie Walker, and he taught us how to sort. We mobilized over 150 volunteers, and they all came, and we divided each other. And we have been trained already. Okay, so once you go to the dump site, if you see any plastic, put it inside this bag. If you see nylon, put it here. Paper, put it here. And then we did that. And then and we also partnered with Oyoma that year. So they came with their truck in the afternoon. And the ones that we couldn't recycle, the ones we could recycle, we picked them. Cans, plastic bottles, cartons, we picked them. Now, Oyoma came and we cleared the dump sites. We took before and after picture. We finished working up there around 12. I waited, some of my team members waited with me until the Oyama people finished packing around 4:30, going to 5. I got back home 5 that day. Sunday morning, I was driving out. When I got to that dump site, I paused, I was like, it was like we did not pack.
What happened overnight?
I don't know. Maybe it was the angels that took, maybe the ones we took away, angels brought it back. The waste that was there was more than the ones we packed.
Does that say anything about the way we manage waste
in this part of the world? It means that the people don't even know. People don't even know. They don't even know what we're talking about. Because the government are going about, they have, they want to, okay, every month they come to your house twice in a month. How many people are doing it? What is the law that is making sure everybody obeys? So if government tells me, I'm coming to your house twice, you give me 1,000 or 1,500 to pick your waste, and I said no. And I know that there's no rule that will bind me, there's no levity, so there's nothing to pay as a fine. And once it is raining, I can pack all my waste, dump them in the gutter, nobody cares. I can pack my waste, put them inside on the median, nobody cares. Please, who wants to pay? Who wants to pay any money anywhere? So the government is making rules, but there's nothing backing the rule. Okay, we left there 5:30. There's nobody there. They know that the government is not going to be on the waste dump by 12 midnight. So they come, they leave their houses 11 a.m. when you are sleeping and you felt you have finished work. And we are happy that, one cleanup day we have cleaned. By the time we came back there, they left their house 10 a.m., 12 midnight, and they dumped the waste back. Why? Because that is the only option. If government is making sure that every home has a drum, but it's not ending there, but that is the beginning. At least if every home has a drum and they are enforcing it, I know that whether I put waste in it or I don't put waste in it, I will pay.
But some would say the people are poor. People
are poor. Interesting. So, but people that are rich that can afford it, who is enforcing them? So let's leave the poor. Okay, fine. People are poor. What about the people that are not poor and they are not enforcing? Nobody's enforcing anything. So.
Wow. Look at your earrings.
Yeah.
Oh. Is that not a tailor's tape?
Yes. There's no waste. You're working with tailor's tape rule, and then it cuts. And once it cuts, they don't use it anymore. They just toss it away. So we turn it into earrings. Check out my bracelet. This is cover of bottle. We call this chambalis. Look at my necklace. We call this necklace. We picked it from recycling and necklace. It's from cover of bottle also.
To Jumoke, there's no waste.
There's no waste. Look at this earring. It's from wine cock.
This is good.
Waste. There's no waste. But look at my key holders. It's from cover of bottles. There's no waste.
A world without waste.
There's no waste. If you know what to do with it, you won't throw it away.
Is government supporting your team?
Not yet.
How come?
Not yet.
Everyone seems to have heard about Jumoke.
Well,
what she's doing to help the state.
Well, now that we have a new government and we've been following him up and we've realized that maybe he's ready to work with the people, work with private people, maybe we'll go and meet them. But earlier government that we've tried to meet, we realized that it's just a waste of our time. And just like I said earlier, I don't like telling story. I don't like wasting time. Whatever I can do, if I have the government support, I can reach 1,000 people. If I don't have them, I can reach 10. I go ahead and reach my 10.
Tell me about a waste museum.
Okay. That's one of our beautiful ideas that we're working on. Now, the idea behind the waste museum is that if you are saying there's no waste is not waste. Waste is a material, but people can't see. You know, people relate more with what they can see than what you are telling them. So what we are working on with the Waste Museum is we are creating a space that is finished with waste. Our tires, our ceilings are tires. We have started collecting scrap irons that we're going to use for the gates. We are going to do our flooring with waste. Our railings is with bamboo and plastic. So when you come, we don't have to talk to you. You yourself, you just be doing, look at this. That is what we want to create with the Waste Museum. When people come in for excursion, they go back with a changed mindset. They go back with an open hair for them to know that there's no box. We've broken all the boxes. So when you come in with a closed head, closed mindset that feels nothing is impossible, something is not possible, by the time you're going out with, I can't sleep. Because as you're coming in, you're getting inspired. For each of two steps you take, you're getting inspiration. So once you are leaving, you are going to go and do.
I need to visit your waste museum.
You have to. Although it's not yet completed, we are still looking for fund, but we are still not waiting. Despite the fact that it's not complete, it's just like 40% done. Despite that, we've started taking excursions already. Schools have started coming in. There was a particular time during the summer that a school from the University of Ibadan during their summer camp came. Over 35 students. They came in at 9 a.m. By 4 p.m., the parents were calling, "Are you not coming back?"
What did you do to keep them?
We had different segments. We had the talk session whereby they were able to, once they come in, they came in with waste also. So once they come in, they came in with, they dropped their waste and then they looked around. We took them around on a tour. So we had a garden at the back, also created from tires. We had different forms of herbs and what they do. Because the idea is also that if we are telling you to live healthy, to take vegetables, to introduce herbs into your food, but it's not available. You have to travel from one year to ShopRite to go and get something. It's difficult. But you don't need any space. Once you have a wall in your house, you can create a garden and grow over 50 herbs that you can put in your food every day.
Is that the eco-green discussion?
Yeah, that's the creative eco garden. So when they came, they saw different herbs, they saw different vegetables. We took them on a tour. When we came back, we started practicals. So we brought out the waste, we showed them different things, they started activities. We even did a treasure hunt. By the time we were there, they said they want another batch. By 4 p.m., we checked them, it's 4 p.m. And the parents started calling, please start coming. Why? Because it was packed full.
You are full of energy. Where do you get your energy from?
God. He always supplies every day.
Do you dance for the kids?
Yes.
You sing for them?
I just started a Zumba class with the adults recently, 35 and above. I love dancing. I love body movement. And whatever I'm doing, I give it all. So when the kids see me, the same passion I'm giving it to them is the same passion they give it back to me. So I get, when I'm going to the market, people call me, Auntie Jumoke. When I was in that PP40, when I go to schools, the whole school scatter. Once I enter, children will start running out of their classes. Auntie Jumoke, Auntie, stampede. Every day, I became so popular, more than the governor.
And yet the governor did not call you.
No. I got after I've done almost 25 or 30 school, I got a recommendation letter from the Ministry of Education. They sent me one-page letter that I should come and pick it up, and that was all.
And what was written in the letter?
They they said they were grateful for what I was doing in the state, and they were happy, and they wanted to commend me, and that's all. And I took it. I said thank you.
And you're not giving up this fight?
No, that was 2 years ago. I'm still on. It was after that I started African Creative Hub. And that one is strictly for creating a sustainable world without waste. So whatever we do, we've done different programs since 2 years. I finished PP40 I'm over 41 now. So I'm going.
So what is happening in March?
Oh, March is Global Recycling Day. The whole world is celebrating recycling. And this year, the theme is Recycling Heroes. We started a campaign last year. We called it Creative Eco Hand Day Competition. It was for primary, secondary, public, private schools in Ibadan, all around Ibadan. And what we do is we will send you a letter, or you call us. We'll send you the letter and the requirements. So you will explore waste in 3 categories: fashion, science, and arts. It must be waste. So you must present 3 works: 1 in fashion, 1 in science, and 1 in art. And on D-Day, which is March 18, Global Recycling Day, you will bring it from your school. 10 students per each school and 2 teachers. So you bring your work and then you will be graded and you get winning prize. Now, why? We want children to start talking about waste. We want them to start exploring solutions from waste. If we do this in the next 5 years, we will come up with global solution for one of these children. Because there's no way you will keep walking around waste that ideas for solutions, for great global solutions will not come to you. So we did it last year. We had over 200 students, over 50 teachers that came. We had over 400 people at Adamasingba Stadium there. We're doing it again this year. This year, we're not doing it March 18, we're doing it March 25. It's a Wednesday, and we're expecting 1,200 students and 300 teachers.
And it's free?
Free of charge. All you need to do is start working with waste now. Some of the schools that I've had already, they've started gathering plastic bottles, gathering tires. Some of them will meet me and say, Jumoke, we're working on it. Well done. I want the whole of Ibadan to start talking about waste. I want everybody to start hoarding their waste. That's where I'm going to. I'm not there yet. I want a situation whereby we will meet at the parties and we'll be saying, I'm the one that will pack the waste there. Everybody getting excited about waste because waste is not waste. Waste is the material.
Jumoke is a star.
You said so.
Thank you for featuring on State Affair.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, sir.